Okay, we're doing the reading today from February 1st, 2013. We're 80% of the way through the book. I think we've been doing this for 2 years now. Um, so we'll get there, but it's been great so far. So today the transcripts start with Jesus. It's a Jesus apparition today. So here's the reading. It is I. You have yet to properly relive my passion. The only thing that saves you is the service to my mother. Sorry, the only thing that saves you is your service to our mother. Your block is not your anger, but your fear. Fear of being judged. Fear of your judgment day. You seek to control things by postponing them. It will not work. You cannot control time. All you can do is have the love that takes you out of the flow of time. That is not the same as controlling time. Part of you will always fall under the flow of time. Your soul is not part of that. Only your soul can be released from time, even while it is attached to the body that is part of the flow of time. When you love properly, and that is not what you are doing yet, then time stops with regard to the fallen angels. They work by finding cracks that exist only in the progression of action and reaction. The only way to see them as still part of my Father is to go beyond time, to the place before the division. It is not you that moves beyond time, but the object that you seek to love. You take the external and move it to a place where it deserves love. You see it as existing at that time, and then you can touch it with love. By moving the fallen beyond time, you give power to the love you reflect to them. The mirrors that reflect my Father's breath must be reflected, and so they work in a two-way flow. So you must move the fallen to a point where you see them as capable of returning the breath of my Father. The key is your ability to accept the return of breath from the fallen. The key is to live in the breath of our Father. What can I tell you that will make you understand? Look at how your breath changes when your heart is agitated. Breath is the key to your flow with the mystery that is found in the external. Philip, how can I bring that into my thoughts, not just those that stand before me? Jesus, do you love your thoughts? You seem to fear them, thinking that they will take you from the fallen. The only time you do not fear your thoughts is when you are serving others. Try to hold the image of my passion as you think, as you write, and as you talk. What is my passion? It is the moment that this miracle was released. See that my passion is the key to moving beyond time. Do not see it as a distant event, but as the doorway to returning all things to the place where they can reflect love. My passion was played out with the crowds and with the angels, good and fallen. Philip, how can I do that when you ask me to write while alone? Jesus, become alive in the flow of everyone. Use my passion to connect to those, excuse me, use my passion to connect to those that read what I ask you to write. You must meditate on those that will use your words to move beyond time and connect to your opening, to my mother and I. You are not sharing your brilliance or achievement, but inviting others to share this moment and this connection. Think of their hearts, not your words. The fallen angels showed me what would happen in the future. I used that to connect to the future. All fear comes from the future. This is the way to bring love into the future. I wake you while you are still asleep, because that is the only moment that you do not live in fear of the future. From this moment on, you will have to live in love with the future. My gift to all people is how to love there, how to love your neighbor so that you are taken away from fear of the future and into loving anticipation. That was the battle that flowed from that moment and leaked into all futures. I go now, but learn this mystery. You will see it flow in the day if you learn how to live properly, and how to reflect from me. And then Philip writes, Jesus leaves. I am left alone with my computer. Those words are not for now, but a doorway to love those who will read them, even if I am the only one to read them. It is my path through the passion. I will learn that mystery. Oof, wow. That's the end of today's reading. I forgot to mention this before we started the reading, but today the satsang will only run for 1 hour because I've got to do a bit of traveling today instead of the usual hour and a half. Wow. Okay. I'd love to start with this one. This one statement that Jesus makes. He's talking about time in the beginning, right? And what we need to do is, first of all, he's telling Philip he's not properly reliving the passion, right? This is a process that we're all in. We all come in and out of this as we discover what this is. And so he says, all you can do, right, is have the love that takes you out of the flow of time. And then this statement, he says, it is not you that moves beyond time. Actually, just a step back, um, he mentions that uh, it's our soul. Our soul is what has actually, it's not just that it has the potential to exist beyond time. Our soul exists beyond time. What we have the potential to do is to experience that while we are in a body that is subject to time. Our body will always be subject to time, and we have the ability, while we are in a body, to live from the soul that is beyond time. So we're going to talk about all this, right? So this is not just theoretical and abstract. Um, so Jesus says, it is not you that moves beyond time, but the object that you seek to love. You take the external and move it to a place where it deserves love. You see it existing at that time. Then you can touch it with love. And that's the that's basically that's the whole process. Um, so a before I go deeper into this, I'd love to know, where are you all at with this? Is this something that makes sense? Is this something that is still abstract? Or is this something that you're starting to experience? Or is this something that you intuitively feel is true, but aren't quite yet experienced? I'd love to know from any of you, where on the spectrum do you currently feel? And it doesn't matter where on that spectrum, we're all on our part of the journey there. But I'd love to hear from you. Where are you in relation to this? Um, to your experience of this. So not just the understanding of it, unless it's like, I don't understand this at all. I don't know what he's talking about, right? Like, what does this even mean, right? Which is also totally fine. Um, all the way to, yeah, I'm living in this, I'm experiencing this. I now know what he's talking about because I've felt it for myself and I've experienced it for myself, and anywhere in between that, right? all the way to I'm already living in this 100% of the time, which, that's the goal. But so I'd love to hear from any of you. Sarayu, I see you're
Sorry, I'm
unmuted.
laughing because living there 100% of the time, that's like utopia right now. But
Yeah.
momentarily. And what I have experienced is I have practiced this within the last two really close relationships I've had.
Hmm.
Getting out of the head and into the heart and living from there. And in being able to see that person that way has helped me to then look at the world and realize that I am meant to see everybody in the world that way.
Mm.
Also, the what appears to be absolute lunacy going on in the world right now. But yeah, I remember a time with Jack, my husband, who is deceased. It was like time stopped, because we were so present. And so it was with him I first trained it, and then I've trained it in the two relationships since. So I know this is true and I aspire to it, but yeah, I can only momentarily experience it right now.
And can you tell us a little bit about what that experience is like for you? What is it that how is it that you're either seeing them or loving them?
I see them the way they appear to be. I see what appears to be weaknesses. Um, and the relationship I'm in now is a long distance relationship. So this is really good proving ground for this because I have a tendency to then make up things in my mind. But if I keep my heart open, because that's the key, that's where I kind of falter a bit. Because in the past, I've had a tendency to try to protect my heart, to withdraw. And I know I can't do that. I've known that for quite some time. I've known that for the last decade. So that's what I'm practicing. But it's like I see beyond who they appear to be.
Hmm.
And it's like I see their heart. And there is just a connection. I think it's a soul to soul connection. I can't explain it really, but
Hmm.
it allows me to look at the person with love in a way that I, as a person alone, could not do. I don't know.
Mm.
Am I making sense?
It makes perfect sense. I mean, at
Thank
least to me, and I see some other people shaking, I mean, nodding their heads. So, yeah, that's very similar to my experiences. You see the person in front of you, that's the part that's in time. You see their
Yes.
behavior, that's the
Yes.
part that's in time. We might become aware of our own judgments, right?
Mhm.
This is also
Absolutely.
existing in time, right? Or our own thoughts about somebody. This is all existing in time. And then the moment that we experience love for that person, yeah, the true soul to soul love, true heart to heart love, that is existing beyond time. And the love is the bridge that takes us both beyond time. You know?
Yes. There is another thing I just remembered. In the beginning, there were times when I had a fear of what he would say, for instance, about something. That's changed.
Hmm.
If he says things that doesn't seem to jive, if he says things that seem to come out of fear, it's like I can just ignore it. It doesn't mean anything. I just
Hmm.
I just ignore it and it works. I don't know how, but it works.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That that's my understanding of learning to be more identified with the soul that's in the flow of love rather than all the aspects of us that are in time, right? The ones that would normally be fearful of judgment or rejection or whatever it might be, those can still exist, right? But if we're in the flow of love and um and that's what one of the things that I'm hearing Jesus say here that is so key is that this is that the breath is the key. That in other words, once we're in this state, then that's what we breathe, right?
Mm.
In addition to air, we breathe that love.
Oh man.
Yeah. And then when we breathe that love, that's what brings us even more fully into that flow. Yeah. And now we are in that flow of love and we experience that flow, and then that helps us to learn how to be in that more often. And then that's the flow where it's like that's everything. That's
Yes.
everything. Uh,
Yes. I listened to the recording from the Christmas satsang. I wasn't able to be on it, and I listened this morning. And what Jesus asks of us, you know, we can give everything to him. But what he asks of us, and what was in that reading on from the 19th of December, was um, open heart, total surrender, and full faith. And I'm like, thank you for that reminder. I so needed that reminder today. So this is just a continuation of that.
Wonderful.
That was a fabulous satsang. Thank you.
No, thank you, Jesus.
Yes, thank you.
Nitya.
Hello. So my experience, first I start to see people just in a soul level. So if I can connect with clients or wherever, I see them just in a soul. I don't see them as they blocks or emotions or wherever. And it's bring me automatically love to that people because I start to see that light. But what about my own experience? It's came to me in my meditations. I see myself like pure consciousness, and see myself like only like soul. Like I feel my soul, and I feel that pure consciousness was open in me more ability to experience that deep love, first to myself and for others and for God. And this is and I can see that pure consciousness like infinite space in my meditation, which is feels like crystal clear ball. Then nothing more present as love and light, and everything would have additional. It's just my layers, which is not true. So it's really bring me more sense to go deep and see people like on a soul level, because I'm purify my mind and I see myself like pure consciousness.
So when you say that, what I'm hearing is like it's not you are actually having an experience of this. It's not something abstract. You're not thinking like, okay, I'm pure consciousness. You're
No, I'm
actually, yes.
experienced
Hmm.
that. I feel that in myself, like I am creation. I feel like I'm that infinite space. I feel like that it's my pure consciousness. There's nothing attach me. And I can feel that deep connection with God in that moment, and open my soul and love, and they really interact with me in that process. It feels like super powerful. I not experience it all the time, but
Yeah,
I'm in
yeah.
the progress.
And what I'm also hearing is that um the way you recognize that is because you've had the experience of it. In other words, it's you've experienced
Yeah.
it in meditation and you've had in your body how an experience of how that feels, right? An
Yes.
experience of how that feels, that consciousness feels in your body.
Yes.
Yeah. And so
Mhm.
then you know, right? You
I
sense it,
know
you
ingest. I
know
know
it.
ingest. It's not just like I'm doubt myself or it's my guess. I just know, and it feels like
That's right.
very natural, very real, like very intense sometimes, because like wow, we can achieve everything if
Yes.
we really purify our mind and go through that pure consciousness, and we don't have that kind of like mm, doubts on our process. It's bring you more deeper and deeper and deeper, and increase your abilities to stay in that state. every maybe meditation. And that connect with me in a soul level. I start to see people the same way, like
Yeah.
just I feel your soul. I don't care what does it cover you. I see your light and I have love to you because I'm purify my own mind. So I don't have it just thoughts probably kind of which can trigger me and see people like, in the negative side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because what I'm hearing is also significant here is that experience is also beyond thought, right? So
Yes.
in other words,
Beyond thoughts.
yes, it's beyond
Mm-hmm.
thought, right? Because you have the
Yep.
experience, you experience it directly. You don't
Correct.
think about the experience, you know the experience, and then you
Yeah.
start to experience that out in your life and out with others. And then again, you know it, you recognize it. It's like, oh, if I'm hearing correctly, right? It's
Yes.
this same consciousness that I experience, I am experiencing it in this other person.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
exactly. And I want to give very quick example. I have connection with one person. I see him in a soul level. I love him, but he were in a deep depression. He wanted suicide.
Yeah.
But I still like say, hey, it's all good. And I give you meditation and love and light. I connect. I see his soul, suffering soul. I bless him, I believe, in that moment. So next day he took off.
Meaning
Yes.
he took his life.
Yes.
Mm.
So that is for me, create and have that experience. When you see person in a soul level, you know what you can bless him, send love and light, and it's just create. It's maybe I don't know with help of God, I maybe bless his life in that point to go in different dimension because soul decided I don't want to be no longer more right here. So
That's
that is
tough. Yeah.
happens as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Um, well, thank you so much for sharing that, Nitya. I really,
Yeah.
really, really appreciate it and for sharing that direct experience that you are having. Um, yeah, that's really beautiful and it's really reaffirming to hear.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to share about their experience? And again, it doesn't matter where you are on this spectrum at all, whatsoever. So that's okay. We can also share like Sequoia.
Okay. So for myself, one of my intentions this year is to expand my heart to receive love and to give more love. Because I was listening to a hospice speaker on Sounds True with Tammy Simon, and he said that when one is on his deathbed, it seems the most important thing was what was my ability to love,
Mm,
to give and receive love. And so when I have these experiences of this incredible love, it's like grace descending on me.
hmm
And it happens, not that frequently, but it happens. And like yesterday, I was at grocery shopping at the co-op, and I got in my car, went out. There's a lot of homeless in the area, and I saw this black dog with a ragged Levi coat on it, eating stuff on the ground, real skinny. And then I thought, oh, where are the owners? And I looked over, and there were a couple of people. I don't know their gender. They were sitting on a log. And one person had their arm around the other. I could just see their backs. And there was a bicycle nearby, and I just sensed they were like homeless. And I just went into this deep, deep love and compassion for their suffering. It was like it just descended on me. This is the first time I've shared this, and it was like so powerful. I just, wanted to embrace them. And it was like, whoa, it just hit me right in my heart. It's like my heart was broken open.
mm.
It was really big. So thank you for letting me share. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's a really beautiful experience, and um that's a big part of what happens when we open our hearts. We open our hearts to both the light and the suffering of others, but it's mitigated by that light, right? It's that this is I mean, there's something he says here, Jesus says here, let me find it, where he's talking about the fallen. So what he says here is that see that my passion is the key to moving beyond time. Do not see it as a distant event, but as the doorway to returning all things to the place where they can reflect out love. My passion played out with the crowds and with the angels, good and fallen. Become alive in the flow of everyone. Yeah. And this is part of what starts happening is that every person can become a doorway to that eternal love and to that eternal experience. And that's the passion. The passion is not Jesus carrying the cross and suffering and being nailed to the cross. The passion is the door present in everything, right? So everything in creation is a door to the eternal. And most powerful are human souls. That's the most powerful doorway to the eternal, to what is beyond time, other souls. And we access that door through love and by seeing them as doorways. And that's what I'm hearing in your experience. That's what I'm hearing happening. Yeah. And that's what transmutes the physical into the eternal, because then everything becomes a doorway for the divine, and then the divine flows through. Um, and we don't have to even be present with people in order to do this, right? That's something that Jesus mentions here. He's because Philip is asking, how can I do that, right? How can I uh, learn to return all things to the place where they can reflect love, right? How can I do that? Philip is saying, when you ask me to write while alone. And Jesus says, become alive in the flow of everyone and use my passion to connect to those that read what I ask you to write. You must meditate on those that will use your words to move beyond time and connect to your opening to my mother and I, right? You are not sharing your brilliance or achievement, but inviting others to share this moment and this connection. So, in other words, right, what I'm hearing him say to Philip is like, hey, this is not about you figuring out what to write and how it's going to touch other people. Your job, and this is what I'm hearing as being the real universal message, our job, right? Whether if we're with somebody, we do it with that person. If we're not with somebody, right, then we have the ability to already connect to anybody that we are going to connect to at any point in the future. Um, Doorways that exist all over the world, doorways to the infinite, doorways to love. And we can already connect to that. And how do we do that? That's my understanding of where um, imagination comes in. Again, not imagination as you are making something up, but imagination as you are imagining yourself, right? Your soul connecting beyond time and beyond space, right? Like, for example, you might be able to imagine that at some point in the future, you're going to be talking to somebody that you don't know right now. You don't know them yet. You haven't met them yet. Maybe in a week or 2 weeks' time, you will meet somebody and you will have a conversation with them in the supermarket or at the store or over the phone or whoever it is, right? Through our imagination, we can already open our heart to that experience. We can already start to imagine the ability to connect not only to that person, but to anybody that we're going to connect to. And then there's no limit to the imagination, right? Because this is what Jesus is telling us, right? Like here, from this moment on, you will have to live in love with the future. Uh, I want to make sure that this isn't getting too abstract. I want to make sure that this still if you can let's play this in reverse. Okay. What I invite you all to do is to imagine a conversation that you've already had. Possibly a conversation where in that conversation you were not present in this way. You were just having a conversation human to human level. Hold on a second. I have to move my video um, out of the way because it's delayed and so it's a little distracting. Okay. So imagine a conversation with anybody at any point in the past. It could have been an hour ago, it could have been a week ago, it could have been 5 years ago. It doesn't matter right now. Ideally, it doesn't carry too much of an emotional charge, a relatively mundane conversation. At the time, it was human to human. But what I invite you to do now is I invite you to imagine the light of God in that person. And what always helps with that is imagine Jesus or Mary, you know, and see the light of God in them. That's sometimes it's easier to do with them, right? So you can imagine a physical Jesus or a physical Mary, right? And then as you see their physical body, you can also imagine that inside of that body is this light, pure love. And that's the reflection of God. And so we can imagine that same light reflecting off of this person. This person has the same capacity. They are the same doorway as Jesus and Mary. So right now I'm imagining a conversation from this morning. I'm seeing that person. I'm seeing them as a human being, but then I'm also seeing around their heart the reflection of that same light. And so I'm loving that. And when I love that, that reflection reflects back to me. And then I can breathe that in. So now I'm breathing in that light. So now there's no limit to our imagination. You can imagine that conversation that you had with that person And, you know, depending on how your imagination works, you can imagine many conversations that you've had with this person, if it's someone that you've known, or you can imagine conversations with many different people, right? However that works in your imagination, however that works in your mind's eye, right? Many conversations where, yeah, the human being is present in the time, but right now what we're doing is we're connecting to that reflection of love. And that exists beyond time. So it doesn't matter when it happened. And because it doesn't matter when it happened, it doesn't matter if it happened in the past or if it's going to happen in the future. Because what we can just as easily imagine is all the conversations that will happen in our life, where instead of talking to the person, we are connecting to that love and to that light. And you can do this in any way. So, for example, if you are working as a spiritual healer, you can imagine all the potential clients that will be there and already connecting on that level. If you are a business person, right, you can imagine your coworkers, right? If you have an office job, you can imagine the conversations that you'll be having with your coworkers where you will be interacting with that light and breathing that in. It almost doesn't matter what you're talking about on the surface level. That's where that interaction is going to take place. Or if you have clients of any kind, right? Or any interaction that'll happen at a supermarket or anything like that. So we have the ability to already connect to that. And we have the ability to already breathe that in. And we also have the ability to do that with anybody in the present moment. And it doesn't matter where they are. So we can think on a loved one, or we can think on someone more neutral, or we can think on anybody or our whole family spread out wherever they are, that they're existing there as doorways of this light, and we're loving them and we're breathing that in. Nietzsche, you have a question or something that you wanted to say?
Yes, probably it's my question. So all this interaction with people and send light, do we need to ask question, what is my role in my connection with person? What is reflection can I get from that person and find my own self-realization, how it changed their life and my life in some way?
Yeah. So, you know, earlier we were talking about how most of the experiences that you were discussing, that you were sharing earlier, they all happen beyond thought, right? The moment you start asking these questions, boom, we're right back in thought.
No, I speak about specific, like with that person with who I connect, like you say, beg for person, like in the past. I beg for that person who I know for 10 days and connect with his soul, send him light, but he still decide took off. And I think, what is where my role to that person and he is alive? So I connect actually with him, only I connect with him and he is the last day of life. I don't know, only me, not his parents or friends. So I think, what is where my role in that point? Like I write back for this situation in my life.
So my understanding of what you're asking, yeah, is okay, imagine like if so my understanding is all we have to do is simply experience that love. And automatically, the unique expression in that moment will be created, right? And what I understand from what Mary has said is that much of what is happening is beyond the mind, right? And part of what we struggle with is the mind really wants to understand, what's my purpose? What am I supposed to do here? Right? And my understanding is we're not supposed to do anything other than to be in that love, because when we are in that love, every single time we are in that love, we are beyond time, but inside of time, there is a unique way that that love is expressing itself. There is a unique expression of creation that is happening in that moment. So, for example, there was, like many, many things can happen. And one of the things that happen is that we feel impulses, right? We feel like a pull to do something, or a pull to say something, or a pull to take a specific action. So when you connect to that soul, the one who took off, right? Our job is not to figure out, this is my understanding. Our job is not to figure out, what am I supposed to do here, right? What is my purpose here? What is my role here? The more we are able to surrender to that flow of love, the more that will either become self-evident, right? And things will happen. So for example, sometimes I reflect on someone with love, and then I feel like, oh, I should either give them a call, or I actually, it's not I should, it's I feel like it. In the same way that I recognize this consciousness, there's a knowing, there's a feeling. I feel like picking up the phone and calling this person, or I feel like chanting a mantra and sending it to this person, or I feel like just holding this person in love and just feeling that love and seeing that highest in them and just loving that. Yeah. And then sometimes that's it. And then I don't know what happens. I don't know what the effect is. Even when, for example, there have been people that I've known who have committed suicide, right? And so I have sent them a healing, right? Again, that arose naturally. I feel this love for them, and I'm like, I know this technique that Swami taught, and I really feel like doing it, right? I really feel like helping. Not I should help, not I'm supposed to help. I feel like it. It's arising from this field of love. Then I do it with no expectation. I just do it. I feel like doing it. I'm doing it. I'm sending the love, right? And I do it with no expectation for what's going to happen. And what I have found happens very, very often, right? Because it's happened enough times. I feel after the energy sent from that place of love, a massive wave of relief and release. Yeah. And over time, I've come to experience this enough times where it seems like, oh, I can't say exactly what's happening. I don't know, but I know something happened to that soul. I know it. I can feel it. It's huge. There's huge levels of energy coming back to me now. So I can feel that something happened, and I can feel that it's positive. And sometimes I get a sense like, oh, that person has moved on, right? And sometimes I don't. Sometimes I get just this huge wave of relief. I can tell you that one time, the father of a close friend of mine committed suicide. And so I did this exact process because I really felt like doing it. No expectation, nothing. Did it, felt the wave of relief, and then that's it. Put it aside. Then a couple of weeks later, she comes over for dinner, and she tells me that without knowing what I had done, on that evening, she has a dream where her father comes to her full of light and says goodbye to her and then climbs up a mountain and just like ascends from the mountain. And I'm like, okay, wow, that's an amazing reflection. That's an incredible reflection. I will never forget that. Doesn't happen every time, right? And it doesn't need to happen every time. I just do in that field of love what that the love is impulsing me to do with no, I should say I tried to, right? My mind can also come in and out. Does that kind of answer? Because then
Yeah.
I don't have to worry. In other words, I can be Nitya, like a child, right?
Yes.
I don't have
Mhm.
to worry about what the results are going to be. I don't have to worry about what's my purpose here? What am I supposed to do? I don't have to worry about any of this stuff. All I have to do is keep making the effort to be in this love and to show up in this love. And this love is constantly guiding me, right? Now it's time to heal this in
True.
you. Hey, this is coming up, right? Now it's time to work on this. Okay. Right. Like, hey, you totally forgot about the love for like a day and you're feeling really shitty now, right? Like let's start remembering it. Let's start, right? Let's start going back through whatever you need to do to come back into it. So it's like it's there as a constant guide for us. And that's what that flow of breath does. When we love others in this way and we live in the breath of that, we are
That's right.
constantly guided. We are constantly taken care of. All of our needs are constantly met when we're able to do that,
Yes. Plus, I believe
like children.
also through this kind of experiences, we go deep in our own processes, find our self-realization about what is important between life and death
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
All kinds of stuff happens. All
Yeah.
kinds of all kinds of knowledge comes, all kinds of wisdom comes, all kinds of deep
Wisdom. Yeah,
understanding,
you're
but
right.
they come, right? We don't have to move towards them. We don't have to figure them out.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
can always
Naturally.
ask.
They will
Yes,
naturally walk
exactly.
through
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Because many times I naturally feel like I want to understand something. I want to know something. So my job is in that space to give it over as a prayer,
Mhm.
right? Hey, I'm curious about this. I want to know more about this. I want to understand this, or I have an intention for my life. I want to heal this, right? Or we need enough money for that, right? And then I give it over as a prayer, and then I can completely let it go because my experience has now shown me that when I'm able to do this and it's in that flow of love, it will come back. The answer
Yes.
will come. All I have to do is be patient. Just let it go and be patient. The answer
Mhm.
will come, right? The answer to my prayers will come back, right? I might go through a year's worth of financial difficulty and it feels really painful in that time. And then it will come back, the clients that I need, the money that I need, right? The finances that I need, it will come, right? And then the more I've learned how to be in that flow, then the less struggle there is in the flow and also the less worry. Thank you so much. It's really Paloma.
All right. I think this might be just something I have to try for myself, but there's times where I'm able to generate a ton of self-love, and so I ha hold a lot of compassion for whatever I'm going through, and I'm like thinking about, I don't know, I'll start journaling and how I deserve softness, and then I'm like the energy is building and building into a ton of self-love, and then I'm able to send that out, and I'm like, I wish
Yeah.
everybody in the world can feel this way, and so what I've not been successful in is starting the love outside of me and then getting the reflection back. It's like it starts me and then I send it out. Do you have a any comments about the differences or times when one might be
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure if you were here for Olga's first sharing on the call today. Did you hear that about the experiences of consciousness that she has?
better? Oh,
So uh if it's okay, I'll paraphrase because it's similar to experiences that I've had, right? Which is I will have experiences. I'll just say I'll use love in this case instead of consciousness. I'll have experiences of love, right? Profound experiences of love. Yeah. I'll have profound experiences of either my own soul and its energy and what it feels like, right? The light inside. And I mean, and I should say that this has progressed over the years. So, in the beginning, it's like, what the hell is that? Like, what was that? Right? Like, wow, oh my gosh, what was that? I've never experienced that before. I've never known that before. What was that? Right? I don't know. And then over time, right, it's like, oh, that's my soul's light. That's my soul's love, right? And then I'll have experiences where, I mean, I contemplate Mary and Jesus a lot. Yeah, I do the rosary almost daily. But not mechanically, right? The rosary is the mechanism to remind me to contemplate
Come back.
Mary and Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not, I don't do the rosary to do the rosary. I don't care about the rosary. I care about how that helps me remember Jesus and Mary.
Mhm.
And I've had enough experiences where when I contemplate them, I'm consciously asking to feel their love. Uh, and so I've had enough experiences at this point of feeling that love that I know what it feels like. And when we were talking with Nitya, it's I'm not thinking that this is Jesus and Mary's love. It's I'm experiencing it. I'm feeling it with my whole being. I'm learning how it feels inside my body, right? And it has a very particular quality. So I recognize it and I recognize the light that comes with it. And then over time, as I recognize that light, so we can call all of this self-love, right? It's me experiencing this either in my own self, in my own being, in my own soul, with Mary and Jesus, in my relationship directly with them, right? So this is all still in the category
Eternal.
of like, yeah, sure, yeah, internal, exactly. When I've learned to recognize this enough, then I can start to either recognize it or imagine it. In my experience, these two things mean the same thing, right? Um, so, like, what I often do is, like, I'm right now, I'll just do it right now because I love doing this, right? Like, I'm looking at a shelf right now that's right in front of me, right? And I know this love, and I know that this love exists in everything, right? So I imagine that that love exists in that shelf. And as soon as I do that, I feel it.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that's what I do with people then. And it's like it's an exercise and it's a process. So part of the process is like what we were talking about just now. You don't necessarily have to do it in the moment, right? On your own, you can already start to do this with other people in whatever way works for you, right? And related to what you were just saying, kind of when you send the energy out, maybe it would be helpful to imagine that when you send it out to the person that you're sending it to, you imagine and are just receptive to it bouncing back and see how that feels.
Yeah, I think of the Saint Francis prayer. Like it is in giving that we receive, and it's like, well, yeah, it's impossible to not generate some love when you're thinking of love. You are the source of love, that you're the point from which love comes from. So it's a reciprocal thing anyway. I'll try it out, I guess, in my own life and see.
Does that help? Is that
Yeah, yeah, I think so. That's great. Thank you.
okay? Sorry. And then I'm
Quick
gonna have to
comment
take off
because
in a few
we're
minutes.
running out of time.
Yeah.
Has to do with um, Nitya's question. I saw a sentence in a book I was reading that really got to me this week, and it was to want to understand is an attempt to recapture something we have lost. And this trying to understand reasoning thing has been very helpful to me in my life earlier but it's not helpful now because it all has to do with the past. What we're using to understand has to do with the past. So you gave a perfect answer when you said to let go of trying to understand or explain things and just allowing love to flow, allowing what comes to come instead of us trying to navigate in a certain way. Does that make sense? To me, that made perfect sense because I've been one to really want to understand and explain
Oh
things.
yeah.
And it no longer serves me. It
Yeah,
does
yeah,
not.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, me too. And in my experience, the more I've been able to let go of that desire to understand, the clearer things are. The more
Absolutely.
I understand, because the desire to understand actually stood in the way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
keeps me stuck in a very human perspective instead
Yeah.
of allowing me to see things from a higher perspective. And I just wanted to toss that in there
Yeah.
because it's been very prominent for me, especially this week. I've been thinking a lot of it.
And
So
also I just want to add it's also very practical, right? Like this isn't just about spiritual experiences. This is also in my work. Yeah.
yes,
I work as an SEO consultant. Yeah. And in my work as an SEO consultant, when I'm able to set intentions of like, if I sometimes I'll just get lost in trying to figure something out. Yeah.
exactly.
And
Yeah,
it just doesn't flow. And I just get so stuck. And then when I let that go and I say, okay, well, this is the goal that I'm trying to accomplish. In other words, this is the intention of what it is that I'm trying to do. And I give that over. And then usually I let it go and I go do something else, or I go for a walk, or I clean the house, right? Or I take a nap, or I take a shower, then, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I need to do. Yeah.
right.
And it just comes. Uh,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. It's unlearning things that we've learned. For me, this last decade has been about that.
Yes. Yeah.
The real answers, they come in a flow, in an intuitive way that it's always been there, but I've been very stuck on analyzing and understanding things. So
Yep. Yeah, that's endemic to our Western culture. That's how we in the West, that's how we approach things. Understanding it logically, breaking it down, and trying to figure it out, wrestle with it from the inside out instead of just allowing things to arise. So
love doesn't happen that way. Love doesn't happen rationally. So
yeah,
just
exactly.
allowing it to flow is kind of the answer for me now.
Yeah.
Or, I'm practicing allowing it to do that.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for this beautiful, beautiful sharings and contributions and just being here together. Really just appreciate it so much. And yeah, I mean, I would really encourage everybody to practice this as much as you can, especially the breath part, right? Learning how to breathe this love that we feel with others and to breathe that in and to practice that when we're on our own with anybody. Yeah. With anybody or as many people or as few people or anything, but really just giving it a shot and practicing it. And um yeah, I mean, it's an incredible blessing, these teachings and these transcripts that Jesus and Mary shared with Philip, who has then, shared them with us. And so it's really, these satsangs are always a highlight of my week. And so I'm so grateful to everybody who comes. And thank you so much. And until next time, have a beautiful, blessed rest of your day or evening, and a beautiful, happy New Year. Yeah, and yeah, may this year really, really help us all move towards the highest. Okay. Om Shanti 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 Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino bhavantu loka samasta. Sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.